You're watching One on One. We're talking with the Secretary General of the League of Arab States, Secretary Amr Moussa. Let me ask you about your defining moments. What do you see as the most important moments in your career and your personal life?
The day you are graduated is important. The day you get married is important. The day you get your first child is important. The day you get the first day on your job is important. The day you feel you achieved something. I wanted to go to New York to be member of our delegation to the United Nations. When I achieved that and I reached the United Nations, entering the United Nations, I remember the moment I entered the UN. When I wanted to be ambassador to India and I went to India, the first moment I went there and how I spent the first day is always in my mind.
Let me take you back to that UN thing. Walking through the doors, obviously you had hopes and ambitions and you thought you were going to do something in particular there.
Right.
Did you find the mechanism of the UN allowed you to express yourself?
At that time, yes. Yeah. Where the Cold War, with two pillars against each other, as two lions quarreling, and we were in between, and we had our role where to vote, and if we vote that way, we'll give them weight. If we vote the other way, we'll give them weight. So the non-aligned, the neutral countries in between the two camps had a very important role to play, and they were quoted by all sides.
Now you were credited by a lot of people as being the architect or the engineer of the relationship that emerged between the US, Israel and Egypt through the 80s. How did you approach that task?
Well, from the very first beginning, as a young diplomat, I started working on the question of the Middle East, the Arab-Israeli conflict. So I knew the ins and outs and a lot of basic documents of that conflict. Up until June '67. Then through the October War and the initiative of President Sadat, the negotiations, direct negotiations with the Israelis to take back the Sinai Peninsula. In fact, it was, we felt the time has come for direct talks, direct negotiations. Living that day by day, month by month, negotiation by negotiation, created a core of diplomats who knew each other on both sides and on different sides. The challenge was immense, but the opportunities were immense too. And I believed in the necessity to establish peace, but equal peace, just peace. Because I firmly believe until this moment that unless peace is just, is fair, it will not last.
Again, a lot of people on the street of Egypt, talking to them, they ask, why hasn't Amr Moussa been president in Egypt? Why do you think they keep asking this?
I don't know why they keep asking that, but I heard things about that. Perhaps they think of the liberal process, the elections, etc. But I didn't have any intention to run for elections.
The media likes you very much, though.
I like the media too.
Why is it? Why is it that you're so popular with the media?
Well, I don't know. You should ask them. Why should you ask me? You ask me why do you like the media, but
perhaps because you give us the time. But you're aware of the power of being able to communicate.
Oh yes, it is. It is important to communicate and be able to communicate.
Who's inspired you over the years? Do you have any mentors or role models?
I can't say I do, but it differs from issue. Depends on issue, circumstances, what to do. There are a lot of people who have influenced me, normal people, relatives, friends, bosses, and how the ambassador, when I was young diplomat, the ambassador dealt with this or that problem.
Having said that, you also, in the position you've been in through the years and climbing through the ladder very quickly, have met a lot of world leaders, a lot of top people. Who are the ones who really impress you? And what is it about them that impresses you?
Well, their role in their countries, yes, I met many of them. And from all, Mahathir Mohamad of Malaysia impressed me tremendously, tremendously.
What was it about him?
The determination to pull the country from the ranks of developing into the ranks of developed, to cross that threshold between developing and developed. And he did that, and I'm full of admiration for this man. President Clinton, whom I do like very much, is also a very intelligent man and a good friend. And he has a strong grasp of the international situation.
Despite some of the strong leaders that there were in Europe and have been in Europe, the major European countries managed to put aside all their differences and come up with the European Union. Could you ever see something, parallel to that taking place in the Arab world?
Yes, I do, but don't forget the two world wars which took place and taught the Europeans that they have to sit together. So they paid dearly for that. It was not easy. So the Arab world doesn't have to enter into the same experience, having two wars between its people. We are in a better position when it comes to that. But I believe the necessity of development and the history itself will get Arabs together. But some Arabs have learned the lesson through serious experiences. Others are learning that now. Others are going to learn. At the end, everybody will realize that we have to be together. This is the must, and I believe that the world is moving on the basis of regions, relations between regions, Europe, the Arab world, the hemisphere, East Asia, South Asia, as you see, the Central Asia. So historically, the development itself will impose that, will make it a must that the Arab world act together.
Despite you being in one of the difficult regions, or the ones you mentioned, you strike me as being an optimistic man. You don't seem to get too bogged down in the frustrations of what's happening.
No. Frustration is always short-lived with me, but I go through this period of frustration. How can I get this, etc. But so at the end, hope prevails.
What are the major next steps for you then? Have you any desire to enter politics in Egypt again?
We agreed that I'm a diplomat and a politician, so I'm in politics.
But I mean a more visible role.
When the time comes, we'll see. Okay. I have enough visible role anyway.
Well, at a personal level, what are the things you'd like to do or things you might have wanted to achieve you haven't had a chance to yet?
Well, at a certain moment in my youth, I wanted to be rich. I never achieved that, so that's all right. It's too late now.
That's all relative, though, isn't
it? No, nothing. I have no exaggerated things to achieve. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be to live to be 100 years old. It's just normal thing.
Do you get a chance to switch off and relax? Do you know how to relax?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When I play tawla, do you know what tawla is? This is the trick track, as they call it. But this is a Mediterranean, Arab, Persian game, like chess, and I in summertime when I have 2 to 3 weeks vacation on the sea, I spend some of that time playing this tawla with friends.
Are you good at it?
Yes, many of us are good players, As not only here, once I was in Bulgaria, I found people playing the same game. I sat and played with them. When you read an interesting book, and I love books of history and memoirs, and those books that tell you the story of Second World War, First World War, the ancient Arab history or Persian history, or the history of Africa. Things like that are very interesting for me. When I was in India, I spent 3 years there as ambassador of Egypt. I had enough time, and I read many books that I bought in New York and never had a minute to read. So reading also is so relaxing. To read an interesting book that you want to read or interested in the subject that the book deals with. This is also relaxing. Sitting with my old friends, when we knew each other as young boys, etc., is also very relaxing. That's examples. There are other relaxing moments too.
Down the road, when it comes to mapping out the legacy of Amr Moussa, what would you like people to say? How would you like to be remembered?
That he was a good citizen and did everything he could in his life to achieve goals that were so demanded, wanted, desired by the people.
I wish you luck, Amr Moussa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.